Hey friends, we've had 10 million Americans lose their job over the past few weeks. The unemployment rate will be announced again on May 8th, which is expected to be in the double digits because of the coronavirus and this health crisis. Many, of course, are feeling a personal financial crisis as well. James Bullard, president of the Federal Reserve Bank of St. Louis, he explained that the government is trying to find ways to assist those who have lost their jobs and the companies who've been forced to close. Think your neighborhood restaurants, your local boutiques. I've used this quote before, but remember in a recent interview, he said that this is a planned, organized, partial shutdown of the U.S. economy in the second quarter. The overall goal is to keep everyone, businesses and households, whole. So that is promising, but we're still uncertain as to when the recently unemployed will be able to return to work. Another concern is how badly will the U.S. economy be damaged if people can't buy homes. A new concern is whether the high number of unemployed Americans will cause the residential real estate market to crash, putting a greater strain on the economy and leading to even more job losses. The housing industry is a major piece of the overall economy in this country. Chris Herbert, who's the managing director of the Joint Centers for Housing Studies at Harvard University, in a post titled "Responding to the COVID-19 Pandemic," addressed the toll that this crisis will have on our nation, explaining that housing is a foundational element of every person's well-being, and with nearly a fifth of the gross domestic product rooted in housing-related expenditures, it's also critical to the well-being of our broader economy. So with this question about housing and rising unemployment rates, we should be asking, how has the unemployment rate in the past affected home sales? So it is logical to think that there would be a direct correlation between the unemployment rate and home sales. As the unemployment rate went up, home sales would go down. And when the unemployment rate went down, then home sales would go up. But surprisingly, research reviewing the last 30 years doesn't show this direct relationship. Okay, as noted in this graph, so the blue and gray bars represent home sales, while the yellow line is the unemployment rate. So let's take a look at these numbers 1 through 4. You see the unemployment rate was rising between 1992 and 1993, yet home sales increased. The unemployment rate was rising between 2001 and 2003, and home sales increased. The unemployment rate was rising between 2007 and 2010, and home sales significantly decreased. Again, this was when we just had the housing crash, and so the mortgage regulations tightened too. So this could be a reason of not just unemployment, but also how the mortgage industry, tightened their lending criteria. And the unemployment rate was falling continuously between 2015 and 2019, but home sales remained relatively flat. So what this is showing us is the impact of the unemployment rate on home sales doesn't seem to be as strong as we may have thought. So what we keep hearing is, isn't this time different? And yes, there is absolutely no doubt that the country hasn't seen job losses this quickly in almost 100 years. How bad could it get? Goldman Sachs is projecting the unemployment rate to be 15% in the third quarter of 2020, flattening to single digits by the fourth quarter of this year, and then just over 6% by the fourth quarter of 2021. Not ideal for the housing industry, but it's manageable. So how does this compare to other financial crises? We have had plenty of people throwing around that this is going to be reminiscent of the Great Depression. So looking from a standpoint of unemployment rates alone, and that's all that I'm addressing in this video, is just talking about the unemployment rates. It doesn't compare. Look, here are the unemployment rates during the Great Depression, the Great Recession, and the projected rates moving forward. So looking at this, you can see the increasing numbers in the Great Depression and for how long it lasted in those double-digit numbers year after year after year. And then to the Great Recession and to what we're projecting, moving forward. So the bottom line here is that, here's the facts that we know them. The housing market will have a challenging year, just like the whole economy will have a challenging year. But however, with the help being given to those who've lost their jobs And the fact that we're looking at a quick recovery for the economy after we address this health crisis, the housing industry should be fine in the long term. So I hope this helped. Stay safe, enjoy your family. As always, reach out to me if you have any questions or you need to analyze your current situation. And remember, we will get through this.